So what are the 3 stocks that Nancy Pelosi has invested in that got her over a 300% return? Well, today we investigate how she sets up her portfolio. Now, Nancy Pelosi has been in the news lately, but not due to her political policies or bouts with other representatives, but because of her great gains in the stock market in 2021. But why should you care? Why should I care, I asked myself. Well, as of October 2021, her year-to-date performance was 69%, beating out the likes of Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, and Cathie Wood. All investors that, well, I respect and follow. So, does that make her one of the all-time great investors? Moreover, from 2019 to 2021, her investment portfolio had a 102% return. That means she had about $65.7 million in growth. She beat the stock market in 2020. She'll probably beat the stock market in 2021. So she definitely has a really good track record, especially for the pandemic. So if you want to see what the US Representative Nancy Pelosi is doing, how the queen of stocks is positioning her portfolio, stay tuned and let's see what policy-making power does to beat the street. But first, if you could please hit the like button and let me know in the comment section what you want to learn from this video. Disclaimer, this video isn't made to have any political stake or to address any policy or political thing, period. It's just a way to let you guys know how you can follow these politicians and what they do in their investments, so maybe you can have a better idea to make informed and educated decisions for your own stock portfolios. So first, how do we even get this data? Well, fortunately for us, in 2012, there's something called the Stop Trading on Congressional Knowledge Act, conveniently shortened to Stock Act. Now, it has been in place since 2012, and here, all congressional stock transactions need to be disclosed within 30 to 45 days of being transacted. This report is called the Periodic Transaction Report, and it can be found on this website here. Type in the last name of the US representative and then go ahead and pick the year, and this is what one of those reports look like. Now, notice it says SP on this Periodic Transaction Report, and that's for spouse, as most of the Pelosi's trades are handled by Paul Pelosi, who is a venture capitalist and real estate investor. Now, what this information shows us is what these representatives are holding, and anytime they buy or sell, quote unquote, transact any kind of public investment. Interestingly, I looked up who the wealthiest US representative was, and it's this guy by the name of Darrell Issa, who's actually from California, and his portfolio is worth about $250 million. His strategy, though, is much less complicated than Ms. Pelosi's, but we'll get more onto him a little bit later. So, the queen of stonks, what is her portfolio made up of? Well, her $50,574,000 worth of assets held in the public sector or public investments are as follows. 44% of her portfolio is allocated to information technology. Think Apple, Facebook, or Meta, Salesforce, and Amazon. 32% are in financials, Visa, Morningstar, AllianceBernstein. 17% in telecommunications, which include, interestingly, Google, Disney, Netflix, Roblox, and AT&T. 7% are in consumer staples and less than 1% in energy and real estate. Now, don't get me wrong, she has over $50 million in physical real estate in California, so definitely not bearish on the real estate market. It's just that her real estate holdings are not in the public sector, or at least in the stock market. Another portion of her wealth is about $20 million in private equity. Private equity can be like a private equity firm. These transactions don't take place in the public sector. They're built up by either large venture capitalists, hedge funds, things as of that nature. And in that portfolio, she has mostly consumer discretionary, food, tourism, financial services, and again, a little bit more real estate. So based on this, you can kind of find out that she has a whole lot of money in information and technology, and the communications, or the, I guess you could call it, the way that we consume information. Google, Facebook, Amazon, the way we purchase things. So she's very bullish on technology, very bullish on the future potentially of digital and getting everything to consumers direct. So how should we position our portfolio? What things should we think, at least in our head, going into 2022 are the bullish sectors? So we can say she's pretty bullish in the information technology. And this is why. Remember those 3 stocks that she held that got her over 300%? Well, now I'll tell you what those names are. They are Apple, Square, Clean Energy Fuels Corp. Apple alone has returned over 60% of that $67 million. $38 million came just from her Apple holdings. Well, that's great and all. Her portfolio is very risky. She has a hefty appetite for risk, even as a savvy investor. For someone who is in their 80s, having less than $1 million in cash of a over $100 million portfolio is quite optimistic. Additionally, to showcase her desire for more risk is her use of long call options as a stock replacement. Now let's just go take a quick step back to Darrell Issa. He was the most wealthy US representative from California. His portfolio of investments, while he does have some real estate, well, quite a bit of real estate, because that's kind of his bread and butter. He's a real estate investor. His stock portfolio, though, only has 2 holdings. He has the SPDR, Dow Jones Industrial Average, DIA, and the Russell 2000, IWM, ETFs. He also has about $50 million in cash. So in his portfolio, he just has 2 low-cost index funds and cash. Nancy Pelosi, on the other hand, almost no cash, levered up, and all in high beta or high risk stocks. So what can we gather from this type of information? What can we do to see if we can use this information to help us make decisions in 2022? One thing you can do to kind of test the strategy is something called paper trading. And with paper trading, you're able to create a fake portfolio and make allocations, buy stock, you could sell stock short if the portfolio allows you to do that. And you can kind of see what it would be like if you were to invest the way she does, without any risk at all, just more of a thought experiment. Another thing you can do is that now there's things called stock slices. So instead of investing $60, $70 million like she does in a portfolio, you can actually just position yourself with the equity she has with just $100 and buy 44%, $44 in an information technology ETF, 32% in a financial ETF, and so on and so forth. The last thing you can do is what I'm going to do, and that's pretty much not do anything at all. I will continue doing what I'm doing, investing how I'm investing, not really mind or care about how Nancy Pelosi is investing. And that's because to invest in what she's investing is pure speculation. You know, all these investors, Warren Buffett, Peter Lynch, Cathie Wood, everyone you follow on social media, they all have their own due diligence. They all have their own bias. Now, for someone like her, it could be, yes, she might have insider information, but a lot of people say, hey, she's trading just like anyone else from California would. Heavy into tech, heavy into information, heavy into communication. Also, California real estate has been a great investment, so there we go too. Also, one thing to remember that these periodic transaction reports, they can have a 30 to 45 day lag. So potentially, she could buy in, sell, leave everybody holding the bag, and then report it on the registry. And lastly, almost I feel more importantly, she has over $150 million of investable assets, for someone, if the stock market were to go down to zero, she would still have over $100 million of other investments that she could turn to. So if you're investing your entire retirement portfolio, maybe you should use a more diversified approach. Just use index funds, something a bit safer that fits your risk tolerance and not hers. In summary, invest with purpose. I'm going to retire someday. I hope you guys retire someday. One of the ways to build wealth is to build wealth through stock market and investing. You can start investing with Webull. They're giving you 2 free stocks for signing up by using the link down below. If you're interested in Bitcoin and all that wonderful cryptocurrency stuff, Webull does it, but BlockFi actually has a deal too where you can get up to $250 worth of Bitcoin by using that link down below. And remember, do your research, do your own due diligence. Make sure you understand what and why you're investing in whatever it is you're investing in. Hit the like button if you found this video valuable. Subscribe for more content like this. I post on a Tuesday, Thursday, sometimes a Monday, and I'll see you in the next video.